So are you guys coping with a no sport thing, eh?
Absolutely struggling. I mean, the last glimmer of hope we had was taken from us a few days ago when UFC announced that Fight Island's not happening anymore.
Yeah, dude,
Well,
how cool.
Fight Island's still on the cards, but UFC 249 is off.
Yeah, how cool would that have been, though? That would have been a Dana White masterclass of note, eh?
He would have, I think even Vince McMahon would have bowed down.
That guy,
The
there
unthinkable.
was so much talk. There was like talk in the end that he started talking to tribe people that own tribal land because the
I
government
saw
has
that,
no
yeah,
say.
for the Indian, what do you call them?
the
The
native, like the native,
reservations.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were talking to them so he could, because they don't have any say, or government doesn't have any say on their land.
Yeah.
So that's when you know you're going into the trenches to find that to make that fight happen, huh?
Yeah, fuck, dude. But I mean, I'll give him his due. This is the first time that he hasn't been able to pull something off. And yeah, at one stage, I thought he was going to do it.
I did too. I mean, I was in the back of my mind thinking it's not the right time to be doing something like this, but I still want to watch some sport. I still want to watch some fighting. I want to watch Tony and Khabib beat each other down for 5 rounds straight and not let the curse take it away from us for the 5th time.
I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't think this was going to, back in my mind, this was going to happen. And then I got pissed off because he wanted to make a pay-per-view with fucking Justin Gaethje. I was like, come on. Come on.
I mean,
you first want to rob us of a fight and then make people pay $69.99 for a pay-per-view.
To watch Gaethje take him. Yeah. I mean, again, that goes back to the other point, though. I mean, with old Kavana dropping those tweets, pretending that potentially Connor's in line for that fight, that sparked things up again. That got people hyped up. That got people excited. I mean, Tony versus Connor would have been a phenomenal matchup. I mean, we would have seen
the only problem with that is Connor can't really travel because I've seen on Twitter that he's been adamant about Ireland closing the borders and that. So it would have been a PR disaster for him if, after having said what he's been saying, to travel.
What do you think the outcome would have been against someone like Tony?
Tony win.
I'd probably give it to Tony. It's difficult to see anyone beating him, eh?
It's been I mean, that's the thing. It's Khabib versus Tony now in my mind. It's the only two fighters worthy of that belt. And at the end of the day, the only person who's going to dethrone Khabib is Tony. That's my thoughts.
But now I've been wondering what happens now because obviously now the Gaethje fight was signed, and obviously that's postponed. But are they now going to backtrack and go back to Khabib, or surely they have to?
I would assume so. I'd assume so. If they're again, here's the next thing. When they reopen sport, close combat, any form of sport, I guess it's when that happens first of all, and second of all, will it happen and fall in line with Khabib while he's having Ramadan in September?
Yes.
Because if then he's not fighting. He's not going to fight. I know that. So potentially,
the UFC know that as well.
They know that, exactly. And that potentially sets up the next Khabib fight for December. Which again leaves us in a position, is it going to be a Gaethje fight? Is Conor going to step in? Tony's fighting. He's going for that belt no matter what.
He's got to fight because he'll get the interim title for the second time. Then he'll probably get Khabib in December.
That's my outlook right now. I mean, at the end of the day, when Khabib stepped down, I think the whole thing for me was going, are we still going to have a fight? Are we going to see any sport? I mean, I knew Gaethje and Tony would be a great fight to watch, not the Khabib Tony fight we wanted, but still something that we could enjoy.
Dude, at this time, I'll take fucking any live sport. I'll watch chess if I have to.
I think Tony's next fight will have to be someone in America because, like, with the borders not being sure when the borders are opening from other countries, I think if Tony's next fight, it's got to be an American. It's got to be someone that's in the country already. Because, you know, even if lockdowns end around the world, there's no guarantee that borders will open.
Exactly.
So, that's a big thing. Then you are looking at Gaethje because he's the only guy that's really up there in terms of
he's top 4, so I think he's the only other guy really I think it's Khabib, it's it's probably Conor now, it's
Poirier, but he was dismantled by Khabib. So he's almost out of the running again.
Exactly. So then, you can't really go. There's no one really else. I mean, Gaethje, I think, just creeps in at fourth in that sort of cluster of fighters there right now, because he's on a bit of he's been on a bit of a run. What's it? Poirier.
The most exciting prospect to take on either of the two. I mean, in my eyes. But again, it's Tony and Khabib. End of story. That's what we
have to see that. I
want to see
I want to see that fight and Conor against Gaethje, and then whoever wins that can step up and have a title shot. That's all.
I actually want to see Conor Poirier.
So down with that. That would be great. That rematch is
the rematch.
Yeah.
I mean, Dustin's
improved
now.
Yeah, he's a different class than what he was.
Exactly. Okay. I mean, Conor was in a world of his own back then as he was on his rise. Not saying that it's any different right now, but Dustin's also in a different league. So I think that fight is something spectacular. I think that'll be also, it'll be, guys will throw the kitchen sink at each other. And I think that's why I also like the Gaethje versus Tony matchup, because at the end of the day, that's going to be a dogfight. There's going to be so much blood. They will stand face to face and trade from the start to the finish.
A lot of years of people.
That fight's
going to take a lot of years of someone.
We've as us three we've sat ringside at UFC many a time, and we've seen some dogfights in our time, and that's what we pay to see at the end of the day. We want to see those guys go to war. We want to see that kitchen sink being thrown in. You know, it's absolutely like it comes down to that when you're sitting ringside and you're getting excited for that type of fight. And I think that's why I like the Gaethje versus Cody matchup, purely based on that. At the end of the day, that someone is going to be suspended for 6 months to a year from an injury.
Well, probably both of them.
Both stretching out of it.
But that's
another one that I'm quite interested in. Another fight on that thing I'm quite interested in was that Francis Ngannou and Rosenstock. Two heavyweights just throw bombs. And
that's going to end with someone sleeping, without a doubt.
Yeah, and 6 months out.
I don't want to say we'll see another Overeem being sent to space kind of knockout, but I feel that that's what's going to happen. Someone's neck is going to be disconnected from their body, one of the two.
I'm so anxious.
Those big guys, they land one proper punch and it's fucking...
Yeah, it's good night. Good night, God bless.
So interesting thing that I heard on, I don't know if you guys saw the Rogan's podcast with Brendan Sharp. That was actually quite interesting because they recorded it. So the beginning of the podcast, they're still speaking about this UFC event happening. And then while they were recording it, Jamie pulled up the tweet saying it's cancelled.
It's over.
Yeah, so they're like, what the fuck? So anyway, but Joe Rogan was saying that apparently in order for ESPN to pay out to the UFC, they need to, contractually, they have to set up, I think it was 48 sort of fight nights.
72 in total.
Jeez.
72.
In total, yeah.
So what you were saying is they've only had a handful now this year. So that means that we're probably going to see a shit ton of like probably weekly fights.
So you're almost saying we might see three fights a week sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's something to do with the whole production. It includes the Dana White Contender Series, the fight nights.
Yes, okay.
It's the whole package.
Yeah,
and they have to let everything has to run its course for them to get that package from ESPN.
I'm not complaining with that at all. That's fantastic. I mean,
and there's so many fights to make. I mean, fuck.
We are sitting.
Is there enough fighters though?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah. If they all get suspensions after each fight, then it's going to be a fuck up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then it leads down and searching worldwide for other prospects, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good one.
Leads me to a question that I know that we're all waiting to chat about, specifically Gideon versus Drickus, and Drickus being pretty much his next step is UFC.
Yeah. Well, I read a thing that apparently he's trying to get out of his promotion because the UFC.
KSW.
Yeah, KSW.
I read this. It wasn't in English, so it was a badly Google translated piece that I read. But basically, he's trying to get out of his contract there.
But I think it's because he's the champ there, isn't he? So.
Yeah, but they're also not giving him fights. So apparently, what he's saying now is I want out early because I want to go to the UFC, and the UFC won't allow me to fight
if you contractually agreed with another party. Yeah.
And now apparently the powers that be there are pissed off with him about all of this, and now they're not giving him fights. So he's saying, like, either give me fights and let me see out. I think he's got a year left or whatever. Let me see that out and at least be active.
Yeah.
Or just let me go, you know.
Or
And
just get a deal with Dana and buy himself on the contract.
Yeah.
But have a great first fight in the UFC, and Dana will just send him. But
But
I think
if the EFC make that fight with Gideon, that's going to be amazing. That's by far the best fight they've put together in fucking years.
And us three are all big Gideon fans from day one.
Yeah.
So it's got a fan favorite fight, which I'm excited to see.
Look,
Cape Town would be great as well.
Yeah. Everyone loves Gideon. I don't think there's anyone that can say a bad word about him. He's such a cool guy.
He's a warrior.
And yeah, I think that fight would be huge, especially if
I think Marcus Drickus is also a good champ as well. Like, he's been such a good champ. Like,
but my question. I mean, Drickus is in his prime. Let's give him that. He is unstoppable in my eyes at the moment. Do you think Drickus is? I mean, Gideon is slightly past his prime, and we've seen the beast that we saw 3-4 years ago. The Juggernaut was an absolute animal that we used to fucking love walking into the cage. I mean, I, for one, sat next to you guys multiple events and watched him beast his way through the cage with every fighter besides the chef fight. And I think that's when we sort of saw him take a dip. But do you think he's slightly past his prime for this fight?
I think so. I think after his big ops and, you know, he's had a couple of injuries and that, and I don't think he's probably not coming back from that to the point where, you know, how good he was. But we've only seen him, I think, once now in the lower weight class. So who knows? Yeah. Maybe he can still give us a couple of fights.
Well, if you think about it, and I listened to something was listening to him and Graham chatting the other day on Instagram Live, and he was saying that he wasn't making excuses, but he was being honest and saying, I've probably took after that Dolce, going into that Dolce fight, from there was the worst thing he could have done because he kept fighting with injuries. And he was being stubborn. He was like, you know what, me at 80% or whatever, and I can still compete at this level. And, you know, and I think that we also need to play, you got to use that, he might be past his prime, we don't know, but I think a fit Gideon might be a lot better than what we saw in the last few fights in his. We like to say people use that excuse for Conor against Khabib. Oh, he didn't train, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. Okay, whatever. But you're still going to come back if you're going to fight the guy again or whatever. You know, everyone in a better frame of mind, possibly, hopefully, a lot fitter and healthier, can put up a better
Gideon,
show.
I must say, Gideon's looking amazing at his current weight.
I've been watching him for the last few months, and he's looking good.
He's training fucking hard. He's forever busy with his brother, you know, even now with lockdown, training in the backyard and whatever. So it's going to be a war if they make that happen. I think
it almost seems like it suits his frame.
Yeah, I think, yeah. He always did look a little bit slow and overweight. Obviously, that helped him out with a bit of extra power and that as well. But I think he's looking good. He's looking fast.
It's an interesting one to see when we'll see another EFC fight. The first fight was scheduled for the end of April, isn't it? Mid-April.
Yeah, mid-April, I think.
It was that one up. It was. What's it? It wasn't it.
City.
Yeah, City. It was not Carnival City. It was somewhere like I think it was in Santon or something, wasn't it? Where they. It was now in April, end of April, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it was the middleweight or lightweights.
And that's almost where does that leave us with another fight card? When do we see another fight card? I mean, it's
so difficult because South Africa is so early in this crisis. You know, if you look at America, they've been in it for quite a bit longer than we have. But then also our numbers are at the moment looking a bit better. Plus the EFC, majority of the fighters are local.
That's also true. So it's not really flying anyone in or out.
Yeah, if we do lift the restrictions, they could possibly probably not with a crowd, because I think we're quite a bit off from having a crowd.
Yeah.
But I think if they, if we lift the lockdown, I think we could see a card probably quite soon.
It's going to be interesting to see what sport is allowed. Like once, even if lockdown gets lifted, there's not a guarantee that sport will be allowed to go back.
Yeah,
you can't have 80,000 people rushing into a stadium. It's
I read an article yesterday actually about that, where they're looking at various options for the sports, and it's so difficult because especially with the football, like people are saying, but just have like quarantine camps, sort of World Cup style. But it's not going to work. It's too many people. It's just too risky.
Also, as you said, this, the in and outs of moving from city to country, back and forth, training, staying fit, not getting the virus. Are the borders open? Are the borders closing? When is this country? When is this country closing? It doesn't make sense. But that's almost where EFC does have a slight advantage. You're right. They can actually keep the local fighters here, keep them once the ban lifts, see how they can slide back into the regulations, and then get that kind of again. Does not having a crowd weigh financially on them? Does that entry fee stagger that event for them? It's almost also a question here. So does EFC...
Yeah, is it worth it actually at the end of the day?
Yeah. So that's also another question.
I don't know if they really make that much money. I think the majority of the money is probably coming from broadcasting. Especially in a South African sense. If you look at most other South African sports, they've seemed to like given up on live crowds. The PSL we've known for years don't give a shit about crowds. The rugby looks like it's going the same way. So I think they'll still be financed, because also without a crowd, you're also cutting a lot of other costs.
Yeah, it's true.
You don't need security personnel and fucking
venue costs, etc.
Yeah. Change the topic quickly. Did you guys watch some of that WrestleMania? Good Lord, it was the worst thing in the world to try and watch.
I saw people staying up and whatever. I was like, no ways. I
watched the rerun. I was watching the reruns, and it was done in a studio.
It
was terrible.
So it's basically become full circle now, and it's basically a Hollywood production now.
Exactly, and we all know
exactly.
We've all gone past the part of knowing it's fake. We all love it for just the entertainment value now. Once they removed the crowd, it just became fucking weird. Like I was like, this is not on. This is, I mean, I can only...
And I'm worried that other sports are going to follow suit. Like in that... I would hate to happen.
I don't think it'll happen like that, because we can enjoy a rugby match or an EFC fight or a soccer match without a crowd. It doesn't.
The action's still real and live.
Exactly. When you got a couple of guys acting a script, it looks wild.
Yeah.
WrestleMania, it was, I could only watch about 10 minutes of it.
It's a bad soapy, bro. It's a really, really bad soapy with no crowd.
I'm sure they still made plenty of money though.
Oh, absolutely.
Because everyone's so starved for any type of action.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then what do you guys reckon we do with the Premier League?
Oof. My word, that's another little...
Easy for me. I'm a United supporter. Call it off.
Well, that's what I'm thinking as well. Just so we don't have Liverpool in the league. But
can we all just say how upsetting that would be for every Liverpool fan around the world? And I'm laughing purely because it would suck for them.
Yeah.
The banter would be great, though.
I'm actually kind of...
But it's almost like if you look at the history and how close they've been and whatever, it's almost like meant to be to happen again,
Shame, man.
Like how absurd can you get?
If there's one thing that was stopping Liverpool, it wasn't another team.
Yeah. Look, I'll put it this way. I won't be angry if they give them the title, because they do deserve it. But I won't be angry.
Let's give them that.
Yeah, but I also won't be angry
if they don't give it to them.
So,
the problem is, though, it affects you got to understand, like, there's so much going on, especially around that, because it doesn't just affect the Premier League. It obviously affects every single league from the Premier League down, whatever decision.
The problem is there's no winners.
It's not just about giving someone the title, but it's also about the relegation situation. And then it's about, well, if you've given someone the title and you say, there's no relegation for this year, then teams that were pushing for promotion in other leagues could end up with players. They've wasted a whole year. Those players could be like, stuff this, I'm not going through this battle again. When the leagues and the transfer windows and it'll open again, they might go. It could go from promotion like favourites to flipping, championship relegation again. Not saying it's going to happen, but it could very well happen.
I've seen a couple of proposals.
Everyone.
I think the best way to probably do it, I don't think they're going to find a way to finish the league, because you got to look at new leagues of fucking starting and blah, blah, blah. So if they call it off, I reckon, and I've seen a couple of people say this, you promote the two teams that should be promoted. No one gets relegated. So you play with more teams in each league.
Has that been done before?
I don't know. And then next season you relegate 4. So then it all goes back to normal. You give whoever's leading. You give
the top 2 obviously then go up as normal.
I think they did that in Belgium, because Belgium, they've called the league off already. And I think,
really?
Yeah. So Brugge, they've won. They were given the title. They were 15 points clear at the top. But I think there's no relegation. I think next year their league goes up by 2 teams.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's the only fair way to really go about it.
Seems fair. It seems fair to me as well. And then take 4 down at the end of that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're in an interesting place, eh? We're in a very, very interesting place right now.
I'm just super glad that Chelsea's stuck in 4th. So whatever happens, we should probably get Champions League next year.
We should be fine. We should be fine.
Yeah.
We've got, and City's in trouble. So we're okay.
What's happening with City currently with their ban?
Well, they took it to the court of arbitration.
Yeah.
And obviously that court case can't carry on right now. But put it this way, they might not get a 2-year. If that 2 years they're in trouble, let's just say, put it this way, if they're going to get any lenient sentence, I say it's going to be a year, which means they miss out anyway. They get thrown out for 1 year.
I mean, it's 1 year. Chelsea's dealt with it a few times. Pay the fine. 1 year.
Yeah.
Carry on.
But also, I've seen a lot of reports where there's also a whole bunch of other stuff happening around City from a legal sense as well. So apparently this is just like the tip of the iceberg of
one of many issues they're going to face.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk that there's been a lot of, they've used their money in a sense, or obviously their legal team is quite extensive, having Saudi owners and, everything around, and, having a whole business group owning you, that there's been a lot of threats apparently to FIFA and to UEFA and stuff like that, they'll open up a big can of worms if this doesn't, get brushed aside slightly. Like, there's a lot of rumors and that going around, so it's going to be quite interesting where that thing ends up.
Oh man, we're in like I just said now, we're in an interesting time. I actually can't wait to see what
rugby seems to be quite a cool thing happening that they're saying. They're saying the 4 Super Rugby franchises and the 2 Pro 14 franchises could do a domestic cup little thing.
And bring the two sides here and let them play from here? Or would they
so because Pro 14 is also, remember, they play Pro 14. No one knows when that's coming back.
Yes, correct.
Kings and the Cheetahs will play against the Stormers, Bulls, Lions. And,
perfect.
So then you basically got like a glorified Curry Cup almost.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. With all the
Curry Cup with first team players like it used to be.
I like that idea.
Yeah. I like it.
I'm more than happy with that. No. I'll take it.
That's the only rugby we get to the rest of the year. I'm not mad at it.
Guys, I've gone to Twitch. I'm sitting on Twitch's FIFA channel right now, watching football.
I watched that esports Formula One a week or 2 ago, and that was pretty cool.
So did I.
That was pretty gnarly. I won't lie. That was actually
some drivers driving,
cool.
And ex-drivers and rally drivers and a couple of golfers.
I don't know if you guys have seen, but what the Stormers are doing at the moment with DHL, they're currently in a little bit of a esports battle with a football team head to head against some football players. It's going to be a FIFA battle in the first and third week. and in the middle week they're going head to head against some Stormers players going head to head against some top local gamers in a PUBG tournament. So
that's pretty sick.
It's now a little esports war going on, which is pretty awesome. The guy's mentally fit, I guess, but at the same time, who loves a video game challenge more than a sports star themselves?
Yeah.
So
I also saw in the Premier League, well, I don't know who all did it, but Chelsea, when we were scheduled to play West Ham, I think it was last weekend, they had Mason Mount playing against Declan Rice.
I saw that.
FIFA. That was quite entertaining.
Yeah,
that would be a cool thing if all the clubs had to do that. You know, you pick your three.
Well, they almost have a little league, yeah. You have a little league and they play each other internally. And
so you play whoever you were supposed to play on that day. You'll play one of their players.
It's
a big push for esports now. They have to try and jump on this now as big as they can. I mean, you've got
esports is growing so much now, and now they've got an opportunity to fucking skyrocket because that's all there is.
Well, I saw a current report from New York from the last 4 weeks that their current spend, and obviously you'd think entertainment's one of the main spends, but at the moment there's no entertainment at all, besides gaming. So gaming sales across the board, from mobile to hard disk games to PlayStations to everything, has seen a 480% jump in the last 4 weeks. People are glued. South Africa alone has seen also a massive jump. Everyone's joining onto a new game, a new console, something similar. Easy way to kill time. It's also something cool to do. But at the end of the day, we're in a world where esports is becoming the new sports. And if anyone wants to fight me, I'm here.
You go to wars, like if you go Call of Duty, that Warzone that they've released. I mean, in the first week of download, there were 50 million active accounts in 1 week. One flipping week of launching. Like, ridiculous. I mean, it's going... The thing
only
about
dream for those
you
numbers.
can connect with friends as well. You can literally have a good long chat with friends while playing the game. Having,
So this is the interesting part, and I think this is where the new age, and I'm not going to use the boomer term because that's just going to throw me into a different category, but
I think we're almost in that category. So.
I shaved my head, and as you can see, I'm pretty much there. But yeah, it's creating these communities, it's creating these worlds where people can interact, engage, and be a part of something that they never used to be a part of. You look at the League of Legends, you look at FIFA, you look at these communities. They have all become so glorified in where they have become the leaders of their space, and they've grown. And look at brands trying to get into these spaces. You look at Adidas, you look at the Nikes trying to get into FIFA. It's insane. If you want to launch a product, launch your brand through an esports platform, you're reaching potentially billions of people. It's traditional sports' worst nightmare. I mean, they're sitting there going, how do we attract these numbers? How do we get people back to a stadium? Esports stadiums esports events are filling up stadiums for people to watch on their own TVs. Like, how is that? Why are they drawing these numbers and creating this entertainment that a rugby team or a rugby season cannot do? That a football, okay, well, let's take football. They'll have big numbers, but it's a new tide. It's a change of entertainment. It's a change of the way people consume things. And I think we're at a tipping point of the way we as humans engage and consume our content, especially with laptops, with our mobiles, with everything, and the way we're sitting now. It's live. It's right there. Someone can literally turn the game on, start playing, start streaming, and we get a notification, and we can start watching immediately. And I think that's the beauty of it. We're in a
society's problems we have, like especially with society now. If you look at it, a lot of people are very anxious to go out and do things and meet new people and stuff. And you find the way, like with video games, especially like someone like me who plays a lot of console games, you end up playing with new people times that you've never met in your life.
Yeah.
You play one game, next minute you enjoy playing with the guy, like playing with a squad of a group of players, and next minute you're friending them, you're chatting to them every night. You're starting to get to know people. And I think this is a lot of people that have struggled to go out or go to events and things. They're finding different ways to now sort of get themselves out there in a way. And it's also something quite fun. And not everyone.
You're right. That person or that type of person is safe, feels safe in that environment. They get to go and enjoy themselves this world with the same similar like-minded person. And I think that's where a lot of people are missing what esports and video games is doing for this current group of people or person. And I think that's where we've got to start really sort of realizing that the power of these communities and the power of these games that they're having on today's economy as well, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, and even just from a marketing perspective, from brands, I mean, you look at with everything being online like that, it's just so much easier and more affordable for them than to go put up huge banners outside stadiums.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
you go on, you pay your space, and you get your banner on a stadium that's utilized 30 million times a day in FIFA.
Yeah,
that brand ROI is something you never imagined. You pay for that in Times Square, but you get that over the amount you have to pay would be 3 to 15 years worth of budget in Times Square to get that much ROI. It's insane. I mean, the way these brands are getting in is also, I enjoy it because it's not that in-your-face marketing. It's not that polluted marketing.
Subtle.
Exactly.
Subtle
they've got to be
placement.
clever. I mean, again, they've just, I don't know if I think it's FIFA and not Pro Evo, but they've just, they've sold Ronaldo's boots now. You can buy Ronaldo's boots in-game.
Plenty money.
They're selling like hotcakes, and that's the beauty. I mean, you get to be part of a world where you can be a collector, you can be a fan, and you can be a player at the same time, and you can be whoever you want to be. And I think that's what really kind of allows that person.
That's what Fortnite's busy doing now with Deadpool.
Safe from viruses.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
Fortnite's busy this whole Deadpool theme. So like you can change your character into Deadpool and different forms of Deadpool, and obviously it's the build up to the movie.
Yeah,
you couldn't think about a better audience to reach. Again, these guys are going to go up the movie because they've become so accustomed to the character. They've played it every day. They've everything they see now, Deadpool related, is they've had that first touch point of Fortnite being the leader of giving them that Deadpool information. They love Fortnite. They love that community. So everything Deadpool related they see going forward is literally loved by them. It's so beautiful the way that the esports realm is taking over almost everything. I hate to say.
See how traditional sports are going to have to try and up their game because let's be fair, they are so behind the curve.
Absolutely.
In every aspect. Like if you look at just simple things like social media and let's take the Premier League clubs out of it because they slightly a bit more advanced. I would even like in South Africa, the PSL clubs are so advanced compared to other sports.
If you compare them to the
social media stuff,
Super Rugby club is horseshit.
Yeah, Super Rugby
from the clubs and from the Super Rugby itself.
Yeah,
cricket is
nowhere.
Yeah,
like at the moment. You look at the other sports. I mean, yes, they don't get the budgets like cricket and rugby do and football does. So they are always going to struggle a little bit. But you look at it and you just look how behind the curve some of these sports are and some of these organizations are. And you look at like esports, you go onto a gaming esports site or a team, pick any team that you want to follow. If it's Ninjas in Pajamas and it's Counter-Strike or whatever, it's Clan or whatever. Now, the content those guys are producing every week is ridiculous. Absolutely.
Almost daily, you're right, exactly.
Every day, 2 to 3 new pieces of content coming out, and it's engaging.
But I think us three all know how powerful that is.
Yeah.
Form of that content, the frequency of it as well is so important in this day and age. And I mean, again, if we look at traditional sports, as you said, that the current sports sectors you named, they're absolutely nowhere, and it's quite embarrassing.
The problem is it's also showing. It's showing if you look at Super Rugby, like no one even knows what the future is of Super Rugby because it's failing horribly in my mind. And
all right. Just back to that point that we had a little chat about earlier was I see that Pride link of those brutal knockouts.
Yeah.
Well, your feedback was straight up. It's like you look at UFC, they're just plowing us with the most insane content all day.
Yeah.
Just keep your mind, UFC top of mind. Just like when they're releasing information about their new fight, you are just going to go crazy because all they've been doing is just feeding us great content. And I won't lie, I've been seeing the same from UFC. Daily, I'm getting a notification about a new top fight that we were almost.
I've also been I saw the other day
content right now is king for these teams.
Yeah, they released the Opperman Bagatine fight the other day.
Yeah, I watched it and I loved every second of that. Oh, the boys went to war. The boys went to absolute war there. So again, you're right. These teams, these industries, they need to catch a wake up and really look at when I say content as their driving force now, because at the end of the day, that's all they've got.
The crazy thing is also, Keegan mentioned budget earlier. They don't need big budgets for this. They've got so much archived content already that just package it nicely and fucking send it out.
We'd be more than happy to sit there and watch reruns and highlights all fucking day.
You should be having best tries of one player like every day. You could go through a whole team, a whole squad, 1 to 30, and so-and-so's best tries, so-and-so's best tries. Every day could be a different player and their best tries.
There's so much you can do. Tries, scrums, tackles.
I'm putting my hand up now. I'm putting my hand up now for South Africa's most vicious rolling mauls. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Exactly. Perfect.
Boys were destroyed. 30 to 40 meters of the most destructive rolling mauls. I mean, that's some beautiful shit. I'd love to see.
Yeah.
And people will share the shit out of it.
So yeah, I think right now we're sitting in an age of content being the driving force behind the current sports industry, which is, who would have thought that?
Yeah, especially archived content.
Yeah,
try to get hands on that archived content now is a bitch. And the problem is as well, is like a lot of these people, they're sitting on all this content, but as soon as you try and share it or try and make something out of it, then it's obviously been taken down because you're getting copyright infringement and stuff like that. But they're not doing anything themselves with this content, which is the frustrating thing about it. They want to own it and hold the rights and everything, which is fair enough, but they don't do anything worthwhile with it. It just sits on discs on
absolutely irritating
and do nothing with it.
If someone else like our account share it, even if we tag whoever, Cricket South Africa or whatever, shit still gets removed and we get fucking banned off Twitter and whatever.
So what if you guys take a clip? If you guys taking a clip, you're editing it and you're putting it out there, it has to be under their restrictions, or even with the edits that you make into the videos, they're still taking it down due to the rights.
Yeah, 100%.
Rights and stuff.
Even if you credit them, even if you say that, listen, this video comes from so-and-so.
Their rights, take it down.
Their rights. So you're actually even naming it, they're taking it down and they're reporting you and you're getting banned and blocked or whatever.
It's catch-22, and we've got to understand both sides of the coin. But from our sides, it's good content that people want to see. So
also
free content.
We also not we also not directly, like, we're not making money off it,
Yeah, exactly. And if you were, you'd be paying them for it.
Yeah,
it's a different story.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, I suppose there's two sides of the coin, and that's always going to be a difficult argument to win.
We know that better than anyone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day. Yeah.
But
awesome,
guys. This is.
But yeah, good catching up, lads.
Yeah. What's the next chat on? The World Dart Championship that's currently happening.
Oh, they play.
It's the only thing on bet.coza right now you can bet on, besides the 7th Turkish league that's currently running.
Actually, I
put a 50 on the Belarus Cup and I've lost all 50 already. Shows you how much I know.
A mate of mine over the weekend, he's doing, I'm not sure what platform he's doing it on, but he's very big into his horse racing. And he's now doing virtual horse racing where you can bet on.
Fantastic.
Please send the link.
Commentating through that. Maybe we should talk through that next week.
Yeah, I'll find out where it is and see if we can get some clips of that.
Send the link. I'm putting 100 on a horse.
And then let's talk about that next week. Talk everyone through some virtual horse racing, and then maybe we can also watch some live feed.
Find some esports that you enjoy.
I'll send some links. I'll definitely do that, guys. But thanks so much. Awesome chatting.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks for joining us, mate.
Cheers, guys.